cannot handle real work, reality talk, 80+ language, simply skip the video.
Everything regarding people behavior is always coming in sets, and I think it's extremely interesting. And the thing is, the reason that I came up with this now and is simply because people come up constantly with different excuses, but people who make excuses, always external, never internal, but people who come up with excuses always need to make remarks about my business model. There is not one exception, and I think this is a beautiful thing. I don't have any emotional thing about it, but people who have negative behavior, maybe towards you, is always coming also from different angles. So for example, there's one person that said something about oh yeah, he's very traditional salesman, not salesman, he took over the business from his father, so he does simply, here you got the flower, you know, you give me money. So, and that sounds very disrespectful, but then the sneering comments come. The sneering comment from his side was, yeah, but if you don't have internet, then you got nothing. Well, I'm gonna say something about this, and the thing is, I never respond emotionally to other people because simply, you know, first of all, they cannot handle the truth. They live in some kind of fantasy world that is all, you know, wake up, just give product to the client, receive money, complain about government, over. So that's why I'm sharing it with you. And you will start noticing, if you start observing the people around you, that everything comes in set. So this person says, yeah, what if, and then a sneering comment needs to come up, needs to come. So the sneering comment was, of course, you know, what if the internet, then you got nothing. But listen to this. This person also knows that I lost multiple times everything. Do you think that I'm not prepared for something that the internet doesn't exist? When the internet would be not exist, you had to be down or something for 30 days, his business model would be way much more influenced than mine. I'm just saying, everything comes in pairs, multiple pairs, a whole universe of characteristics. So one other thing, now I'm gonna talk about this guy, you know, who always complains about his exes, and then he says, I'm 80% over it. And if you're watching this, there is always more excuses. So he said, yeah, now I'm 80% over it. 80%? They still live rent-free in your thoughts. There is no such thing as 80%. Maybe you feel a little bit better now that you speak with a real person. Not bragging over here, but I'm not having any negative feelings to somebody else. And the fact that I'm now speaking about other people, their characteristics, is that you become more aware about people, their behavior. Because at one point, if you know people long enough and you label them as friends because you don't know better, you never hang around with very high level energy people, you think that's the norm. That's why I'm sharing it with you. I'm almost 47 within 3 days. No, 4 days, I'm lying. In 4 days I'm gonna be 47. I lived a life, a very colorful life, with non-stop gas. So I can talk about the things, and the amount of time that normal people would sleep, I'm going gas. You know, even when I used boatloads of drugs and alcohol, I still went non-stop, non-negotiable. There are things in life, because this morning I talked with one person. She thought that I was actually 27. Thank you for that, by the way. The thing is, I said I'm 47, almost 4 days. The thing is, what is the secret? I think to live life on your own terms is one of those things, but also to the fullest. Never think you can take a day off because it's Sunday, and or any other excuses that you will use as a have man. Why do I say the word half man now? Well, most men, they claim that they're men, they have all kind of limitations, excuses, or they use family, or they use their wives, their spouses, or their children as a weapon, which I think is the most despicable level of excuses, the category of excuses that are despicable in my eyes. Yeah, because my son, my daughter, because of this and this, because of my ex-wife, blah blah blah. Simply say, look in the mirror and say, I'm not in control now. Nothing difficult about this. And you repeat it until the day you are in control. Like me, I'm in control of my time. I'm walking over here, I'm sick, I'm taking a day off. Wait a minute, before you say, no, yeah, no, that sounds like an excuse. I got a heavy flu, and I'm using it a little bit as a benefit, or as something that I'm gonna benefit from by putting more time into my email list, my sign up form on Dotcom, where I give away all the strategy for free, so you can claim your time. Not only this, I would never charge a single cent, and you can do everything from the phone. And I narrowed everything down. And when it's about the negative people, that there's multiple people from multiple countries, different ages, different backgrounds, but all negative behavior comes in pairs, and that is a universal silver lining. I don't know how to say it, but it's a universal thing. People with their excuses, people with excuses also have some sort of arsenal of sneering comments. Why the other person is actually succeeding, why the government is bad. But also, for example, when they hang around with a bunch of friends, well, they all probably walk around with beer bellies and, you know, have all kind of wives that they label as ball of change, and or they have exes that they who live rent-free in their minds, you know. And it's true, it always comes with a whole set of behavior. There's also another person, he says that he trains, yeah, it looks all good, has a beer belly, yeah, his body is totally out of shape. But again, it's of course the fault of the products that he consumes, because, and in this case, this is a real thing. He says, I am drinking this and this amount of coffee, 1 liter of coffee. Okay, that's good, great. Then he said something about milk, because the milk is not real. Well, I drink every day at least 1 liter of milk. Coffee. And then I asked about it, when it's about details, right? I always talk about the fact that if people talk about something or subject, always listen to that tonality, you know, then you really know. But if you really want to know, you ask for details. So when he said, I'm drinking every day 1 liter of coffee, think about this. So if you drink 10 coffees a day, that is 100 milliliter per coffee. That's not correct. The thing is about this, if you drink every day 1 liter of coffee, that is maybe possible. That is possible. I know people in Holland, they did a whole can. And I know this guy ended up in the hospital with a heart attack. But it's not because of the coffee, also because of a lot of other things. But and again, detrimental behavior comes in sets. Also, when I talk about myself, when I use boatloads of drugs, and then later I start adding the alcohol to it, which gave me that extra buzz, you know, you need always to add something to the equation to make it better or even worse for yourself. Nothing comes like a standalone thing. I think that's something interesting to observe when it's about the people that you have around and that you think that are now your friends, but in the meantime you always feel something inside, you know, that you can do better. See, in general, a lot of people say that they know that they can do better and they will put in the work, but that is 99.99% not true. And this is not to kick kick down the chair while you're hanging in the rope. That kind of, that everything is so bad in the world. But it is true. You gonna change? When are you gonna change? Make up your mind or take action. Making up your mind you can do now. You say, darling, yeah, I'm listening now to your BS, and I think I'm gonna change. I'm gonna sign up for your newsletter, and then I'm gonna read it, and then I'm gonna think it's too much work, and then I just lose all motivation. And motivation is another beauty, I think. You know, it's normal people behavior. I'm very motivated today. Doesn't matter if you're motivated, because the world doesn't care about your motivation. Motivational speakers, all great. Motivational speakers, they should also hang, most of them. And I speak about, had a couple of vlogs ago, maybe the previous vlog, I talked about they have to hang the people who make those $27 courses, because it's ridiculous. If they really make that amount of money, they should give it away. And especially the specific course that I talked about, it was a Notebook LM course, which says the Notebook LM is incredible. When it's about AI, I only use Gemini thing. Today or yesterday, Gemini 3.0 came out. It's ridiculous. A lot of people who talk about Chat GPT, I got nothing against those people, but they listen to particular kind of motivational speakers because they have stake in the game. You know, I mentioned this example before, this Warren guy, this old guy who he made a lot of money, blah blah blah, and then he eats every day at McDonald's. Why? Because he has stake in the game. Drinks Coca-Cola with it, of course. He has, you know, he was one of those first people who bought those stocks or whatever. The exact story, I don't know. But the thing is, and it's the same with ChatGPT. When people talk about ChatGPT, and I got nothing against it, but I think like this. I think as a human, I don't get influenced by people who speak a lot with their arms and I don't know what, just to distract you from what they really speak about. I think like this. Who is the longest the company on this planet who's dealing with internet stuff? Okay, there's maybe Yahoo, but Google now is insane. I'm telling you. And then the thing is, they also constantly add new platforms. You know, also when it's about the video creation, blah blah blah. It's insane. And I'm only on the Gemini thing. Did I start with ChatGPT? Yes, because that was one of the first things that was available for the public. So that's why the moment that AI became available for the public, I went straight away into it. I spent 10-12 hours the first 6 months on it every single day, and now it's insane. It's really insane. It's even overwhelming, even for a person who is obsessed. I'm obsessed. I mean, I'm in the obsession game my whole life, and everything that I'm speaking about, I speak about it from the heart, but also from my own experience. And my nose is a little bit stuck, but you know what? Nothing what I do is perfect, but at least I live the life. And this is another thing, right? Because in one of the shorts I talked about how there is the trends, people following the trends. Then you first first it was giving money to homeless people. Second thing was visiting dangerous neighborhoods. Then is chasing scammers or immigrants or whatever. But you know, those people will have the followers and of course the views, because it's like disasters. And why does it work? And giving money to homeless people is not disaster, but it's based upon, you know, that I think it's similar to the news. The news, I haven't watched television. Last year I watched for 30+ minutes some television. It was the last time. But the thing is, it's, if I probably would turn on the news, it's the same. It's war, it's politics, and everybody's bad, which I don't think that they are, but people want to see disaster. That's why I do believe that it's nice to see people in distress and people give other people money. This person who does it, see, let me also tell you this, because there are people who doing it in a very extremely great way, which I think they live for it, but they also don't expect anything in return. And those people, you know, they're insane. One of those people that from the beginning actually follow his head. This Steve will do it guy. He got banned from YouTube and now he's back on YouTube. But the thing is that, you know, the amounts of money that he actually gives away on camera are life-changing. And a lot of people who give a few $100s to a homeless guy, and with all the respect to the homeless people, you know, we know where it's gonna end up. It's not life-changing money. And the thing is, again, I got nothing against homeless people, because I organized for the homeless people free drinking events at my home. Not only this, around Christmas time I always walk around with a bottle of something and then I drink with the people, because yeah, I like to do that. And I know I never put those people on camera. But the thing is, trends. And I thought about this morning also about another one that was a specific kind of tune and then people dance on it. And you know, what kind of morals and honor do you have? What are you ready to deliver? The thing is, and this is the same about doing the charity, the giveaways on camera. So you need those views, blah blah blah. You feel good about yourself only because other people tell you maybe that it's good, but then it stops. You're not gonna do this until the day you die, because it becomes too obvious what is your real intention, unless you do it in a way that it's, you know, that is life-changing. I do believe in this. And those people who do it without expecting anything, and I think it's with everything in life, if you do something, do it all the way. Like my vlogging journey is more or less to increase the impact of my speaking. And next to that, if I would look back on videos maybe 100 videos ago, I would not say things different. Maybe I would say them different, but I do mean the same things. It's not like that people can, after 500 videos or 1,000 videos, that they can look back, hey, you said this over there. Because I speak from the heart and from experiences, real experiences. And there are a lot of other people that have, you know, that they get along with the trends. And I think that is nice for the views. Maybe you get some ad revenue, but I'm over here to change people their lives by using that device in their hands to make a living, to roam freely around the planet. See, and that's another thing what I also understand from a lot of people, because they see the phone as a sort of entertainment source. And I think that's so embedded in their soul and character already that it's, you know, it's already glued to their brain. That's how much it's embedded. And that is, of course, an obstacle that I have to pinch through somehow, somewhat, by saying the right things, frame it better, and then, you know, that you sign up and actually put some work into it. 50 minutes a day that you start with. You start building your online assets that are more valuable than any crypto thing on the planet. Can I say this? Yes, been there, done that. And what do you know then, dollar? Now, I'm gonna tell you a little bit short, very short, and I said this already in other vlogs, but the thing is, when it's about Bitcoin, we bought Bitcoin when it was $375. We sold it at $1,500. We bought Electronium in the ICO period, 0.001, and we sold it for 15 cents. So, you know, been there, done that. VeChain, we bought it for 1 cent, I think. And we sold it also, I think, at 9 cents. The thing is, why do I chose those coins? Simply because they have their off market selling and buying possibilities. And not only this, I'm shaking hands with people who have or own the exchanges. So, you know, for me, there's always a connection with the real world. So again, to smear this thing, this sneering comment from this idiot, not only one, there are multiple idiots say, yeah, but if there's no internet, then you got nothing. So if you're watching this, checkmate. And this is the thing, people who are now, let's say, in the traditional thinking, you need a job, you need to follow your father's footsteps. But if you do and you have children, then at least do a little bit more your best, so they don't have to follow your lousy footsteps of slavery. Yeah, but Alan, I got my own business. No, you don't. you just took it over from your father, and you just like on automatic pilot just fulfill your duty. It's not that you're doing something that you really want to, because if you really do something that you want to, you don't have time to complain about the government. You don't have time to complain about the latest incredibly raising restaurant bill. If you're watching this and then in the meantime making sneering comments and also don't want to actually monetize your existing offline business better, because no, that is totally outrageous, but in the meantime put your face on social media, of course you do it the wrong way. But if you put a little bit more time, then you would actually increase your return on time and financial investment in your current business, and that's something for your children beneficial. And not only this, so for example, you got the whole day at your business and you listen to some of my videos where I talk about building the audiences. If you don't do it for yourself, do it for your children. And that's why I say many times people are so incredibly selfish and judgmental that they so focused on, yeah, but if the internet is gone, then I got nothing, then you got nothing, haha. So what is that for kind of, you know, attitude towards life? You probably wish towards me that the internet would be not accessible, but like I said, for me things would keep on going, and probably when the internet would go down, it would influence your business way much more than you think now. So really think about this before you make comments, negative comments. Just open your mind. Just open your mind a little bit, especially let's say that you care about your children. So if you don't see the bigger picture for your business, that you want to have more clients, because the biggest excuse is, yeah, but I don't want to have more clients, I prefer to complain. Well, just do it for your children. Start building audiences for them. If you do this for 2 years, so let's assume that your child, your son, is 8 years and you start now. So when he's 10, you already for 2 years busy building audiences for him or her, if you got a daughter. And what do you think what it would do for their future when they're gonna hit 12? I was 11, cleaning bicycles. But the thing is, if you build audience for 2 years, think about it. So in case you have very judgmental and traditional thinking, no, I don't want to build audiences and all that kind of stuff because that's way out of my league, or you know, because then you think probably when the internet is going down, your life is going to hell, or you hope that my life is going to hell. No, just do it for somebody else, your child. Let's see how much you quote-unquote love them by going the extra mile. The extra miles on top. Run faster. Like I said also in one video, if you want that your children do better, show them how it's done. And a very simple example is also about this father who was shouting at his child in the stadium. Shouting, and his son needed to do push-ups and then something with the football. But I looked at the father and you could see beer belly, the whole butt, dad butt. What kind of example do you give? And then you shout at your son. Well, how contradictional is this for a young guy? It's the same when people give me health advice. That's also a fun one, you know, because a lot of people who meet me for the first time and they come up with all kind of stuff, but they also in general don't know how old I really am. But of course along the way, and when I get the millions of views, then everybody knows how old I actually really am. But the thing is, you know, one time I got advice from a guy. I was sitting with him in the car. He was smoking cigarettes and he said, yeah, but Donald, you shouldn't eat so many eggs. At that time I ate 4 or 6 eggs a day, but they didn't understand how active I was. But you know, so I'm very, when it's about getting advice, show me. And it's also unconsciously, I think everybody looks at how somebody looks out the outside, but a lot of people also get blinded by luxury items. You know, there's also one guy, you know, a little bit steroids, a little bit Lamborghinis, but this is the thing, I think. And then he shares very generic strategies just to lure people into his paid course. Guy earns millions and then he has to, you know, have a paid course of I don't know what. Also, I think this idiot $47 or something. Again, you know, I talked about this in another vlog. If you earn millions, you know, put your thing a little bit higher. Don't sell to, let's say, normal people who I do believe everybody deserves a chance at the big money, and give it away and let's see what they can do, and then work with them. That is my 100% intention, transparent intention with me giving everything away, because at one point you will hit a roof. But it's more important for me that people get started, get a little bit cash flow, and then when they hit the roof, you can contact me, discuss the problems that you ran into, give me multiple solutions that you tried, and then we just break them through. Because this is the thing, I'm doing this for a long time. A lot of people do make fun of me that they make fun of me when I, you know, that I clean bicycles. But this is the thing, I start learning communicating and providing a service and then get money in return. But not only this, people who say that I'm focused on money, ask yourself, you probably got a job, duh, because otherwise you're not so judgmental. But the thing is, what do you do when you get a job? You negotiate about your salary, your wages, that who is in it for the money, and then you deliver 8 hours or maybe 10 hours, maybe 12 hours or 14 hours a day chasing the money. Who is over here in the money business? I am in the value business. I provide value, and as a side, this money will be delivered. That's the whole thing. And I think that brings so much other positive benefits to the table. I feel fulfilled. I don't have to be in a business. It's freedom. I can decide with who I want to work. Freedom. I don't have to dress the way people tell me to dress. If I want to run around butt naked, I could if I wouldn't get arrested. But you understand what I'm trying to say. You want that you decide what you do with your time. Hey, your time on this planet is limited, very limited. And maybe you hate your life now, or you think, or you spread the word how happy you are with your new spouse. That's another thing, right? And that's also, again, a temporarily burst. I know from people, you know, they make pictures with each other for a couple of, mostly it's only weeks. A lot of pictures kissing, eating pizzas together. Now, yeah, detrimental behavior. That's what I also think about that, eating pizza with your girlfriend. But the thing is, am I that judgmental? No. But I think if you eat multiple times per week pizza with your girlfriend, what are you planning to do? You know, are you some kind of feeder? You know. Anyway, try to do a little bit, you know, be less selfish. Put a little bit more work into it and don't expect anything in return. And if you, in case you have children and you expect them to do better, you do at least 90% better than what you're doing now. So maybe they will notice the 10% from the 90% that you put in, and then maybe from that 10% they will actually start doing it, because they can see, hey, Papa, Mama, they putting in the work. Oh, my father has a six-pack, so I can do it too. He's not only bragging about it or force me to train, no, he shows me. And not only this, be very careful how you present yourself. If Papa, and let's say it like this, you're because I'm a man, so I can say it like this. I prefer to say it like, so when Papa walks into the room, do they make fun of him? Or they think, oh, that's that guy? Or nobody notices him or her? or in this case the father. If your father doesn't get noticed by anybody, I don't know, it's not gonna work out very well for little Timmy. Just saying, start thinking about your own behavior, your own world. Be very judgmental to yourself, make sneering comments to yourself, and that process will never end. Growth never ends. Absorb from the world without judgment. And then of course there are people now watching, but Donald, you say a lot of negative things about people. No, I never mention names, I never mention any specific kind of groups of people, ethnicities or anything. I'm just sharing that sharing characteristics and the signs, so you can be aware of it and prevent and learn from it. Because like I said, if you constantly hang around with the same people who don't have any growth attitude or growth intentions, yeah, you know, you also don't get motivated or made aware of, and the real things that interfere with your happiness, feeling of fulfillment. Because also this morning, and then I will stop talking, and there was a man, a woman, and the man was holding the child, and the woman, she walked away angry, and I could see the disappointment in the man's eye. And the thing is, the guy was also overweighted. The thing is, you know, yeah, that is something, it's not necessary. And the thing is, to prevent this, you have to put in every single day the work. Discipline. If you put in the disciplines, it will come back to you. Not instantly, because first you need to build a character. That's why I talk in my vlogs about, and with my training videos, in the first place it's shaping that character. Not getting rid of the beer belly yet, that will come, but first shape up your character so you can get rid of, you know, those lousy people around you. But also, when you have a very, let's say, undisciplined character, you attract those kind of people. And the people with similar characteristics, they attract each other. No matter what. When I used a lot of alcohol and drugs, I attracted in my circle a lot of idiots. But I was still, you know, doing the businesses, projects. So yeah, it simply interfered with my growth immensely. Anyway, I started to lose a little bit my focus, probably a little bit because of the flu. Not try to use it as an excuse, but you know, I think I'm gonna eat something and move on. Yeah, I'm actually thinking now, what else can I say? No, nothing. Ciao for now.